All international bridges connecting the U.S. and Canada in Western Ontario near Niagara Falls have been shut down. This after what the FBI is calling a vehicle explosion. We also heard that from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and our Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc. The incident happened at the Rainbow Bridge. It happened on the U.S. side. Now, we do have a time now. It happened just before 1 p.m. local time. No word yet on injuries or what caused this explosion. Let's go now to Hillary Johnstone, who's gathering information as well. Hillary, what's the latest that you know?
Hey there, Hannah. Well, of course, there's still a lot that we don't know, but we still have a lot of information here that we can share with viewers at home. So if you will, let me go through some of what we know at this point, some of those statements that we have on the record from officials on both sides of the border. So as you were just saying there are now 4 international crossings between Canada and the United States that have closed. The Ontario Provincial Police also say they're in the process of closing Highway 405, and they're telling people in that Niagara region to expect delays because of everything that has unfolded. Now, as we were just hearing there from our colleague Thomas Daigle, who's on the Canadian side, saying that it's pretty quiet there right now. But of course, we do know that officials are working furiously behind the scenes right now, trying to figure out what has happened. As you mentioned there, the FBI has confirmed that they are investigating a vehicle explosion. This is the FBI office in Buffalo that has put out some of these statements, saying, of course, that this happened at that border crossing, as you say, on the U.S. side of the border around 1 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, that's 1 p.m. local time. They also point out, though, that the situation is fluid. You can see that's the latest statement there that we have from the FBI Buffalo field office, saying there at the end that the situation is very fluid. That's all that we can say at this time. We have also heard from the governor of New York, who is also confirming that they are working with the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force to monitor all points of entry into New York. So that's the latest there that we're hearing from the governor of New York. Now, in terms of what we're hearing from officials on this side of the border, of course, just a few minutes ago there, we were hearing from the Prime Minister who left question period, of course, to continue being briefed on all this. We also know from some of our colleagues that Canada's Public Safety Minister, Dominic LeBlanc, has also left along with Transport Minister Pablo Rodriguez to try and figure out what is happening. We heard from Dominic LeBlanc earlier saying that all of this is developing minute by minute and that they are actively working with their counterparts in the U.S. That's something similar to what we heard from the Prime Minister's office as well, that they are also working, of course, with their American counterparts, trying to understand what has happened and any possible security implications on this side of the border. On that front, we've also heard on X, of course, formerly known as Twitter, from the Niagara Falls Police that they don't believe there is currently a threat on the Canadian side of the border. But as you can imagine, that is part of all of this that is unfolding and ongoing right now, trying to understand exactly what has happened here. That is sort of the latest that we understand at this point. I believe I also have a statement here from Ontario's Premier Doug Ford that we can share with you at home, just in terms of what we're hearing from people on this side of the border and what we were hearing there from Doug Ford, of course. There you go, that he's been made aware of this situation unfolding on the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls. Our provincial law enforcement is actively engaged in assessing the situation. They're working with local law enforcement and are providing support as required. Of course, Hannah, you've been speaking with spokespeople from the OPP today on air as well, getting the latest on that front. But we do know that there are those 4 international crossings that have now closed. And like we were hearing there from the OPP, also working to close Highway 405. So certainly, if you live in that Niagara region or have any reason to head there at this point, you can probably expect that there will be a lot of delays today.
Okay, Hillary, thank you for this. I'm going to let you go, see if you can gather more information on that.
For sure.
Thank you kindly. We did, as Hillary said, speak with Ontario Provincial Police Sergeant Carrie Schmidt earlier this hour about the evolving situation. Let's play that now.
Well, I just got off the phone with one of my colleagues from the U.S. Border Protection Agency, and they're confirming the same thing, that we do have those closures in the Niagara region only at this point. The Rainbow Bridge is where the incident took place, but as a result of that, the closures, the pause of border crossings have taken place at Fort Erie, at the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge, as well as at the Peace Bridge down at the end of the QEW in Fort Erie. So at this point, no traffic getting to Canada or coming to Canada on any of these three border point crossings for now. Waiting for updates from the U.S. Border Patrol protection as to how long this will take before they can lift any of those border pauses. But right now, obviously, anyone who's trying to cross the border is going to find that they're dead ending at on the QEW there with really no place to go. So major impact on traffic. There's no other alternates, and the Peace Bridge down to towards Michigan, Detroit, those borders are still open at this time, but I just don't have any timelines or ideas of how long this closure could last.
Okay, we are hearing from the Ontario Premier as well, but I'll get to that in just a second. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what this incident is.
Well, again, that's not part of our investigation. We were made aware of a situation on the Rainbow Bridge. The U.S. Border Patrol protection, along with CBSA, Parks Police, maybe Niagara Regional Police, they're dealing with the closures of the roads leading out of Niagara Falls towards the Rainbow Bridge. But as that border closing continued and expanded, we were advised to close Highway 405, which leads to the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge. That border crossing just north of Niagara Falls is closed, as is the Fort Erie Bridge, Peace Bridge down at the end of the QEW at the bottom of Fort Erie. So again, no access to the United States from any portion of the Niagara Falls area. And again, I don't have any timelines on the timelines of duration or when we might expect reopening. I'm waiting for updates from my colleagues at the USPV.
Now, we are hearing it's reports of a vehicle explosion. What can you tell us about that? Are you hearing the same reports?
Really, yeah, I've seen pictures and videos of that as well. I can't confirm any of that information. That's something that you'll have to get verified from the U.S. Border Patrol or Canadian CBSA. They're the ones that will be dealing with it on site, and the road closures that are leading up to the bridge at the Rainbow Bridge. That's going to be Niagara Regional Police or the Parks Police as well that will be assisting with that. The OPP's jurisdiction really ends at the 420 in Niagara Falls. We are dealing with the road closure of Highway 405 leading to the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge, and obviously the QEW right down to the bottom of Fort Erie.
So there's also, excuse me, I don't know that highway very well, but there is a highway that's also being shut down currently?
Yeah, Highway 405, which kind of branches off of the QEW, just outside of St. Catharines, just before you get to Niagara Falls. That highway, which leads directly to the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge, is closed and shut. There's really not too many exits on that portion of the 405. It basically is a feeder right to the U.S. At the Queenston-Lewiston Bridge. And so that highway is shut down, and really motorists, commercial truck traffic, or people heading down for Thanksgiving, trying to get across the border. At this point, if you're down in the Niagara region, there's not a lot of options for you. Sit tight, stay off the highway, just get up to an area where we can find a place of safety. We don't want people queuing or stopping on the sides of the highways. That is certainly an issue for us in terms of traffic safety and public safety for everyone. And hopefully we'll get some information soon from the U.S. side as to how long this border closure will remain.
Yeah, have you had a chance to speak with your U.S. counterparts at this point?
Yeah, I just got off the phone with one of my colleagues from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and he was actually at the Rainbow Bridge when I spoke to him. He was also talking to his colleagues, so I had a chat with some of my colleagues from the U.S. side, advising of the pause in border crossings at this time, waiting for updates from the FBI and everyone else who is actively involved in this. We're just trying to manage traffic on our side here in the Niagara region of the province here in Ontario, and we'll wait for any updates in terms of when we can advise of traffic reopening, or if people are going to be rerouting out towards Thousand Islands or down towards Sarnia, Detroit, Windsor, in that area. So it's a wait and see right now.